cube number 2. Okay, so I saw Sam in here earlier. Hopefully he's still here. Sam apparently likes 2 things: consuming pie and 25-cent cards. So this is the cheese cube. I mean, you can see right here the buy on this is $50, so a nice tight budget cube. Currently running only cards that are 25 cents, presumably at the time of purchase. My guess would be that Sam does not cut a card if the price goes up, but more just that no card can go in without being at that cost is my guess. He wasn't super specific, but there are a couple questions here that he asked, and again, we'll go over the cube in general, but Sam wanted to know if the archetypes are balanced with or against each other. He said they really tried to push archetypes, but is it better to just do good stuff? My one-word answer is no, but we can talk about that. And then he wanted to know if pirates are viable, because they went through several different tribes, including knights and warriors, but they really like pirates, and we're worried that it's underpowered compared to just straight up aggro. And then Sam was looking for test drafts from both us and the community. So if anyone would like to draft this, I just dropped the link in the chat. Please feel free to draft this now or save it for later. So, what do we think of this cube?
So I want to shout out that he's using a very little known feature that you can actually tag cubes. You can't do anything with the tags. Like there's no point in doing it, but they appear underneath the cube description. I wanted to build something that's like, so they're links, and when you click that, then you get a page with all the cubes with that tag.
Right.
Right. You can search for tags, but
yep.
It's kind of half baked, and right now you can tag.
Yeah. I think it's tricky because I think we could spend a couple hours just talking about how to classify and codify a cube. You know what I mean? Budget obviously can mean a lot of different things. I mean, Solely Singleton has a budget cube that ranges around $120, $150. This thing's sitting at, $30 to $50. And some people cut their individual card price at $10 and call it budget. So it's a tricky thing.
You got a spam comment in your.
I sure do. If Ambrose is around, maybe they can figure out how to kick that thing out. I guess I'm in Stream Manager.
You can mod me as well. I can take care of it. This spam bot, they swapped out a bunch of letters with weird characters,
right?
So they would avoid a auto detection algorithm. But I went and rubbed it off my screen because I thought there was some lint or something on my screen.
Rub it off your screen.
Awesome. The little arch over the F.
Amazing.
Is that a character? Right.
It's just a special character. That's fantastic. All right. Okay, I'm gonna throw one thing out right off. There we go. Thanks, Pab. And I didn't even see Pab was in here. Yep. You got it. You got the spot. Okay, so I'll just throw out right now. Obviously, it's for budget reasons. But when you're running full play sets of tapped lifelands, and you're running up to 9 2-color cards per section. Golgari is in Demure at 9, Selesny is at 8. Izzet's at 11. And I don't think there's a couple hybrids, so that's actually a thing too, but that might be challenging to balance. And especially if you're not looking for a super slow environment. So that's my spreadsheet impression looking at it.
I don't want to talk about this topic ad nauseum, but these lands suck. It sucks that if you have a budget cube, these are the lands you have to play with.
Yeah.
I saw somebody about guild gates, and they sharpied out the enter the battlefield tap line.
Yeah.
I know people with peasant cubes, several people with peasant cubes that break the peasant restrictions so they can run ETB on tapped lands.
Yep.
And I'm all for it.
I agree with that. I actually so I designed a cube a while ago on stream that was rarity restricted. It was built like a master set, right? So there was multiples of commons, 3 of each common, 2 of uncommons, 1 rare mythic. And in order to have an uncommon, quote unquote, cycle of lands where there'd be 2 of them, I just said, fuck it, this particular land, I don't even remember what I picked, but this cycle of lands is uncommon. I just downgraded it for that cube, for that exact reason, which is if you go anything peasant and below, or anything even remotely budget, you're stuck with just the worst lands. Even at a slightly higher budget, something like the temples just isn't going to work by itself. So I'm gonna 1,000%. Yeah, and these are just tagged as duels. I'm gonna 1,000% echo that and say, Sam, my first suggestion is go through and Sharpie out the enters the battlefield tap part of this. And hell, you can even keep the life gain. Sure, why not? Yeah. Or yes, anyone building a cube like this, if it's a budget thing and you don't want the mana to feel budgety, I totally agree. Or honestly, like, do you have a printer? Because, I mean, I put the ABUR duels in my my master set cube, and they're just made of paper and a basic land.
Magic's just better when you can cast your spells on curve.
Right. And I actually, I think if we really got into the nitty gritty, you and I would disagree a little bit, because I actually don't have a problem with some of the lands being tap lands. I think it presents an interesting set of choices, and I think it presents some tension. But I do agree that overall, access to good lands is a big problem for Cube. I get why they do it from a business point of view. I mean, I don't, but I do. But I think for Cube, yeah, I think we should take the opportunity to make that better. And hey, Sam is in the chat. Woohoo! Sam's in the chat. I would say he was the first, but last week we actually had one of the designers in chat. They just didn't announce themselves. They hid. And I found out the next day when they were messaging about it in Discord. I was like, wait, are you this person? So anyway, yeah, let's not work ourselves up into a lather over the lands, but I do completely agree that it's really unfortunate where we're at. So that, I agree, that's my first suggestion, is just however you want to do it. There's a bunch of ways you can do it. Printed proxies, Sharpies, the life lands are pretty cheap. If you're looking at $1, you're looking at $10 worth of cards here. I would deface those with a Sharpie myself. I'd have no problem with that.
All right, moving on from the lands.
Yep.
The curve looks actually pretty decent.
Yep.
You really seem to know what you want. Like, you don't have any one black drops. So your black is definitively mid-rangey compared to white and red. You only have one green mana to work, so you probably aren't supporting ramp deck similar to traditional cubes. There's a lot of spice in here, like Fire's Invention, great budget card. This card, I mean, anyone who's been keeping up with Standard saw how actually busted this card is. Card's worthless. It's worth 23 cents.
Right.
I play it in my cube, and it's actually just a powerhouse.
Yep.
It's turn 4, and you just cheat on mana, and it's very, very good. Yeah, and it also suffers from another problem that budget cubes have, is you have actually, like, your cheap creatures are actually pretty good. Like, a lot of the cards here you see in highest power level cubes, like all your white 1-drops. These cards are all viable, right, in the highest power level. You have a few red 1-drops that don't quite make the cut anymore, but
right,
still they're pretty high quality stuff. But then when you look at the top end, that's where you begin to suffer.
Yeah.
And
that's famously the peasant
problem.
issue too, right? Is Palaka Worm is like, that's your top end for like reanimator cheaty stuff normally, and that doesn't necessarily cut it compared to some of the aggressive options.
Yeah, if you're looking for card suggestions, another cube I'd compare with is Soleil Singleton's I think it's the starter cube now.
Mm-hmm.
The whole entire cube is worth it's less than $120, and
Yep.
they spent a lot of effort looking for cards that kind of fill in these holes that a budget cube has, like
Right.
top ends, affordable mana fixing, things like these. They do it quite well. Fire Dimension, definitely a good find. Ferrari Conjecture,
And
Rise from the Tides.
for anyone who
These are
wants
nice
it,
archetype defining cards.
yeah.
Right?
No, I just want to say for anyone who wants it, I just linked the starter cube in the chat because I follow that as well. That's a really worth following and keeping an eye on overall.
I see Astral Drift. I'm curious how many cards with cycling there are. Let me just do a quick
Yeah,
filter.
let's take a look.
Oh, cycling. 14 cards with cycling, which is actually
Wow.
very low. If you're trying to support Astral Drift,
Right.
I would definitely you want to up that to like 30, or it's maybe skewed towards white, have a lot of white or colorless or lands
Right.
and cycle. But 14, like if you get every second card, you have 14 cycling cards.
Yeah.
I mean, and 5 of them are lands, granted, but that's still quite low.
Well, and it's going to be hard to build your deck around it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because like I know the point is to cycle them, but you also. So Sam said Astral Slide is only to cycle and flicker plus cantrip.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
All
just
right.
going to mention that.
Sure.
That's I can totally see that. It's not an archetype card. It's just like a flicker cantrip.
Yep. Okay.
Do you run Ephemerate?
Nope.
Do not.
That's probably too expensive,
Ephemerate's
right?
also one of those. Is that card worth something though?
I don't know. No. It's 2 cents out of range, depending on how strict 25 cents is. Okay.
That might be worth like noting, making sure Joshers understand that this is not an archetype. Cycling's not an archetype. This is just
right. Yeah, it's
like
okay
the cycling half of.
It's okay to play something that's a trap as long as you have a way to make people aware, whether it's by listing your archetypes explicitly or by saying like, hey, here's a couple cards you might see. Just know that, Astral Drift is not an archetype build around. It's just an acrobatic maneuver approximation or whatever, which is also in the cube.
Archetype is also something that. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yep.
Sully Singleton really tried to make the cycling deck work, so they add like Drake Haven and a couple others. And honestly, the cycling deck is actually still pretty bad, even in the budget format. But it is one of those archetypes that is almost there. It has a couple very all-in cards, and then all the support cards are just generically good. So it actually works really well in Cube. It's just not quite there yet.
Yep.
And it's also dirt cheap.
Yep.
So it works in budget cubes.
It's good in budget cube. I almost wonder if you could like use something like Living End as a way to like support a cycling deck, but have a payoff at the top. Because that's like a modern deck, right?
Living End, yeah, they like cycle and then they cascade into it. That seems
that's a little janky. Right.
I'm just can't play anything.
yeah.
2 or 1.
It's a very linear combo
like,
deck. Like there's not a lot of exciting choices about it. You just cycle shit until you can hit a cascade creature.
Companion Karuga restriction.
Right.
I like Palace Sentinels. That's a nice one. Those mono cards are just you get the flicker stuff to get it back if you can't push through.
Yep.
Pestilence is brutal.
Yeah, it is. Where is that?
It's one of the best Pauper cube cards, and quite honestly, a mistake to include in most Pauper cubes because card is just
too strong,
miserable,
and there's not a lot of great ways to deal with it.
Yeah, no, I love it, but
Yeah, yeah,
it,
yeah,
it can be miserable
yeah.
sometimes.
That's another one. We talk about this a lot. It's like the EDH question. That's a playgroup thing. If everyone just thinks pestilence is the bee's knees, like great. Um, so Cold Life made a point that part of the issue with a small price range like 25 cents for lands is that some of the cycles will have unique members that fit, but not a full cycle. Like Temple of Triumph and Temple of Malady, you can play, but not the others. Now that being said, I think it's worth noting that um, while that's true, I'm actually quite against symmetrical cycles of land anyway. Your Boros aggro deck doesn't want a gain land or a temple, but your grindy mid range Jund deck might be perfectly fine with a temple, just as a way to smooth out a couple draws. And again, that's where I come in on like some lands. It's okay that they enter tap because like if you have this grindy Jund deck and you've got a couple pain lands and a couple, a temple and maybe a creature land that's strong enough, like Raging Ravine, maybe you're okay with taking a turn off now and then. But that's an argument for another day.
Yeah, I wrote about this actually a bit more. I'm just gonna link the article
Oh, great.
here. It's called Making the Most of Your Lands. It's all about bringing conventional ideas and trying to make the actual land slots in your cube matter more. Be more conscientious of what you're putting in and
Right.
what roles they fill. Because I think we can do better than, yeah, these lands fix for mana. These utility lands, you can
Right.
just put them in any deck.
Right.
They can be working into your archetypes. You can make bigger themes with like cycling or recycling lands with like Crucible and Raminap.
Right.
The modal double-faced lands
Oh.
really open the door all sorts of possibilities.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm all for like really deeply exploring um, unconventional ways of cubing lands.
Awesome. I'm in for that.
Time Wipe also a great budget board wipe.
Yep.
Did a lot of blink.
Yeah,
But
we've
no
got some
Soul
more, right? We've
Hoarder.
got Momentary
Is
Blank.
Soul Hoarder too good? I have like Mist Meta Witch, which is it's no Soul Hoarder.
Nope. I could see Soul Herder being too good or too expensive.
I mean, I can't imagine it's
Yeah.
being too good. But if you have
Sorry, Deck. We hit a little latency there. What was that?
oh, I said I don't think Soul Hoarder's too good in a cube where you have Pestilence and Fires of Invention.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yep. Fair enough.
Oh, Sam's is just out of price range. That's tragic.
Yep.
Maybe
Yep.
it'll drop, but
Yep.
maybe not.
Maybe since we're gonna beat
Yeah,
up on
you
this
have so
cube, we'll
much.
we'll mail him one. If it shows up in your door, Sam, is that okay? Will you put it in if it just happens to land in your mailbox?
What if I like run over with my car, so it's definitely damaged? It's less than 25 cents, right?
Right. Yeah. What's the TCG on a heavily played damaged range?
You gotta scan it, and that's the image you
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
use.
Yeah.
The gnarled.
Just so everyone knows, it's still in the budget. Still in the budget. I do. I mean, that's actually I guess I had said earlier, like presumably things won't price out. Like, some cards. Well, like Pestilence right now says it's 80 cents, so presumably this went in
Oh,
when it was 25 at some point. But it seems like, I mean, and prices fluctuate too much, I think, to constantly monitor this. I would guess, right? Um,
yeah.
um,
That is a bit high.
Actually, now to be fair, that also might be the budget's really the budget is really strict, so probably not. Okay, so unfortunately we can't send over a Soul Herder for you. Um,
All right.
right. I was gonna say also, depending on whether or not the version is correct here, maybe there's a 25-cent version of Pestilence out there that's been printed more than once. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Back
there's
to
a
the
version under.
questions. You said, is it better to just do good stuff? We really tried to push the archetypes in order for the cube to have more synergy. I mean that's a matter of preference. Uh,
Sure.
Like I like to think of it as a spectrum. You can have all good stuff, and it's decks look a little more similar, but the draft is actually more meaningful because you have more degrees of freedom to move around in. But on the other end of the spectrum, you have like tribal cube. It's like on rails. You pick a lane, you stay in that lane, and you win a pack. Well, one of the cards is in my lane, and the rest is not. So that's kind of what you go with. And I think the sweet spot is definitely somewhere in the middle. And how I like to do it is think of my generic good stuff cards as glue cards, and these cards I specifically pick out to incidentally support archetypes. And some of it is easy, like oh, you can have like a spells matter thing, and okay, spells incidentally help the spells matter archetype, sweet. And then you have like your payoff cards, which is like maybe something like Sahili or Murmuring Mystic, something like, or even Young Pyromancers is a very light payoff. And now you have kind of like a fork of just a red blue deck of okay, now I have a bit of a spells matter theme, but there's still a lot of agency for the drafter on how they navigate it and how they piece together these synergies. So kind of finding where you like to be on that scale, that's a matter of you and your play group. And yeah, it's hard if you really like want to discourage good stuff and you want people to focus on synergy. Then the cards you want to watch out for are things like fact or fiction, just objectively powerful, very one-dimensional. It just goes in everything, um, unless it's like maybe it's part of a greater theme of well, you have a lot of graveyard interactions, and you want to give blue plenty of strong, good ways to fill the graveyard. Then maybe that's something that you want. Um, I noticed like your red burn, like you don't have bolt or any super premium red removal.
Yeah,
That's a
Bolt.
good way
I
to
don't think
increase
Bolt goes under a
synergy. And
dollar.
well, that's a million printings. There's no way there's not a
Oh, maybe not.
printing. It's
Maybe not.
I'd be surprised if there's not a printing of bolt under a quarter. There's so many printings.
Yeah, maybe.
But so I think Fires of Mentioning is also another good example of um, it's a one card archetype. It's a card that you put in, and it gives your drafters a goal to kind of create synergy around this card and try to get maximum value out of it without actually creating like an on rails
Right.
experience.
I think
I
something.
think your reds. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just gonna say. I think Gwen touched on something really important about this question, and it has a lot to do, in my opinion, with the word you said, agency. The 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 looser the archetypes are, the more to a point, the more agency you give your drafters to find different ways to make that synergy work. Like, you can have 4 or 5 different flavors of a spells deck, right? Because you've got, things like Enigma Drake and Crackling Drake that are looking for you to spend your spells first and maybe be a payoff or a growing, a scaling threat. You've also got things like Gutter Snipe that are useless after the spells are cast, or like Talrand, which is actually in. I think both of those are in here, right? Gutter Snape's in here, Thermo Alchemist, Talrand. are looking for you to drop them first and then maybe chain off a bunch of cheap spells. And hopefully then you want cantrips. So you want stuff like Opt, and you want to chain a bunch of those together. And those decks, in theory, they share colors because they're almost definitely blue-red, or they might splash another color, but unlikely. But they're looking to use a lot of the same cards, but they're also looking to use them in different ways, and they're looking to do different things, even though they're both blue-red spells decks. And another way that you can then kind of go with Gwen's style, or Gwen's more like, glue with agency, is you can throw in a couple things like Seeker of the Way and maybe even Myth Realize. Maybe that's too much of a reach, but it depends on your power level. And all of a sudden, now you have Jeskai as a way to kind of get into spells, and you've got some white prowess, and you've got some blue options, and you've got some red options, and you could kind of mix and match those any way you want. I mean, it's like, it's like baking, right? Like, bread and muffins and bagels and whatever your pastry of choice is, share a big slew of ingredients, and they share a science, because you can't get away from how those things rise. You need certain proportions of ingredients, but the end result is different enough that, some people really like muffins but don't like bagels or whatever. So I think I do think that I personally would avoid, unless your playgroup just really likes it, good stuff, because I also think that loses replayability very quickly. I had a cube that I designed with a friend, that's now my main cube, and because of the way that we kind of learned about it, because this was a weird cube, it started up very much as a good stuff pile kind of cube, just by accident, and the first two games were really fun, or the first two drafts were really fun, and the third got really annoying. So like we very quickly were like, well, that was cute, doing like 4-color good stuff, but no. And being able to find synergies is, I think, really important. And then the other thing is having more kind of packagey archetypes, where it's like you can create a little nugget of synergy within a wider deck, really helps you not have a train wreck as often. Like just like Gwen was saying with Fires of Invention, once you have that card, you've built the archetype. You don't, there's ways to synergize, but your deck isn't going to suck if you don't get exactly what you need. Whereas, like, again, Reanimate needs a certain density, because if you don't get any Entomb effects or any discard outlets, you probably just can't really play the deck. Like, right? I mean, what do you do in Reanimate if you don't end up getting any way to put something in the graveyard? I think you just lose, right? And not like you don't have any fun doing it.
You go on the draw and you do not play a land.
And just
that's your
mill them out. Yeah. And if that sounds like fun to you, then it's fine. But
no, you turn one, you don't play land, so you discard.
So you discard, right?
You're
Right.
Norn,
I gotcha.
And then turn two,
reanimate it.
Reanimate. But Alice Norn.
Hey-o! Easy 3-0.
You're better than this.
As long as you don't mull. So I just think that's a valuable way to look at it, is just to remember that the tighter the archetypes are, the more on rails they are. It's a little easier to get lost in your draft. Especially, whoops, chase. Well, this is a 360, so we know every card's gonna hit the table. We know that.
So on that note, let's look at the pirates. So I'm just gonna do a filter: O pirate and or T pirate.
Right.
Okay, so these are all pirate creatures or cards that reference pirates. I only see 20, and it's spread between blue, black, red. So it is a 360 cube. So I'd expect Pirates player, if they want to actually play this, they need to get most of these cards. And also, these cards, it's tough, because if you want this to come together, it means the Pirates player is not making as many meaningful choices, because they probably just have to pick up the Pirate when they see the Pirate. But also, if you have cards like, I see Kite Seal Freebooter and Ruin Raider. What else?
Spectral Sailor.
Spectral Slayer. Yeah, exactly. These are cards that all the people are going to pick up as well.
Right.
So if we just look at the cards that actually care about pirate synergy, which is just O colon pirate, I see 7. So we have Dire Fleet, Neckbreaker. All pirates get a Bone Sweater, which is 4 mana, 3/2. You can see that being pretty decent if you have the Critical Mass of Pirates. Dire Fleet, Daredevil really needs a lot of pirates as well.
Yep.
We got a reader. Hold on.
We got a reader.
Pirates, you will deal damage to your opponents. Exile the top card. May play. Okay, so if you hit them with a pirate, you get to do like.
Oh, you're looking at Breaches? Yeah, Breaches is another. I think we lost Gwen for a moment. We've been having a lot of Discord latency. I'm starting to wonder if it's on my end, actually. Yeah, so Breaches basically snags a card off of your opponent's deck. Actually, let's pull it up. Oops. That's a great name too. Breaches is pretty funny. Yeah, so you got to hit with a pirate. Breaches are another one, and a 3/3 menace is going to be able to chunk through, a few times probably. You can snag a card from your opponent's library, and you can play it for any color of mana. So I think something like this is depending on power level, this might not be good enough on its own, but I do think it is like this is an example of something that does something by itself, and you don't need like a huge density of pirates per se in order to make it work. Now, that might be a bit of an exaggeration because you probably do want a couple other pirates so that you can be attacking. But this might also just be the kind of thing that you throw in with an aggro deck and you happen to have like 1, maybe 2 other pirates, and you're just going to be able to get a hit once in a while. It's also a 4 mana 3/3 menace, which maybe not great as a top end to an aggro deck, but definitely like fine in a mid-range deck. Like those are good stats overall. Hey, welcome back. Discord does not like our conversation today. Yeah, am I coming through to you, Gwen? He's going to reconnect. Discord has been very troublesome today. Very troublesome. Let's see if that works. Sorry, folks. Well, that's a good question. Does it have any changelings?
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay,
Welcome back. Astox, no changelings, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that was the next part I was actually going to mention. Like I said earlier, if you can craft your glue to incidentally work with your archetypes, that's where you want to be.
Yep.
And changelings do this for archetypes that care about creature types. So there's a ton of generically powerful changelings out there.
Oh, it's O changeling. I forgot.
Yeah, you got the O changeling.
Oh, there's one. Crib swap is a tribal instant shapeshifter. The type of shapeshifters. That... Two shapeshifters. Astox knows what they're talking about. We do not. No, but it's Identity Thief and Crib Swap. So, but you're right that there are a number of shapeshifters / changelings out there. Well, helps if I type it right. There we go. That might just be strong enough. Jeez, I don't know if it makes it for the budget, but I fucking love body double. No, it doesn't make it for the budget right now.
I mean, so there's Changeling, Outcast, Graveshifter. These are all pretty decent. There's some in white, but you're probably only looking at the ones in Grixis.
Right, for pirates.
Torian Mauler is actually pretty solid beater.
Clone's pretty good.
Well, I wouldn't. I don't know if I consider those like because.
Oh, because it's just a shapeshifter. It doesn't have changeling.
You need to be. You want to play them in other decks, right?
Right.
And, most decks don't want to clone.
All my decks want clones.
I'm sorry.
No, that's a good point, though. I mean, there's a number of good, like Graveshifter is just a solid card. 23 cents. Imposter of the 6 Pride, maybe not great, but it's a 2-mana 3/1, and then it's a pirate.
Yeah, the problem is it's white.
It's white, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Just in Grixis.
Right.
So I think the pirates theme can work, and I think you actually have a good mix of incidentally good pirates that anyone's going to want. But you need more total pirates. So the pirates player doesn't just feel like they picked every pirate they saw and only ended up with 12 or 15 pirates.
Right. Right.
So changelings are a way to do that. Adding you can just go through the pirate list again and just add any that seem half decent and out of the decks. I'd recommend doing that. I think it can definitely work. I would recommend to not go too deep on adding too many tribal archetypes because then it gets a bit too on rails for my taste.
Yep. Well, and like, so another thing to think about too is like how much you want it to be a defined archetype versus, again, like kind of a loose synergy, because something like Lightning Rig Crew, which is a 3-mana 0/5, you might, now I don't think this is a great example because I don't think it would work the way I'm going to describe it, but just something to think about is like, is this something that can go into a deck that's going to run like 3 pirates incidentally, like your Grixis control deck? Again, probably not a great example, but like an 0/5 blocker is fine. You drop it, and then, you know, whenever you cast your Kite Sail Freebooter, you just get a free damage with it, or a free 2 damage with it. I don't know. I mean, again, that's like a very contrived example, but I hope my overall point comes across, which is like sometimes it's more of just a loose synergy where some of these cards like Lightning Rig Crew are just going to gain you a little bit of incidental damage. They aren't necessarily like a build around where you're going to pick one Lightning Rig Crew and then grab every pirate and be like, haha, I'm just going to, you know, deal 10 damage to you on turn 3 or whatever. Yeah, because like the crew doesn't even hit creatures, because that would be one thing if you could just burn off, you know, X ones. I think the other thing to consider is...
I can't redeem... Oh, sorry.
You can't redeem your points? I locked you out of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to redeem this reward, Cube with JJ. But
you don't want that. You don't want that. Maybe it's on cooldown. I don't know. I only just started setting those up recently. Something else
to cube with you, though.
I'll cube with you. This is what we're doing right now.
Yeah. I'm locking in next time.
In the next episode. Okay, D White. Still waiting for your cube. This whole fucking idea is D White's fault. He redeemed that, and I was like, hey, what do you want to do when we cube? And he was like, we should review community cubes. And I was like, no one's going to want to do that. And then 90 fucking submissions later, that's probably what happened, was I went in and turned off that redemption. I was just like, no more No one gets to
Now,
redeem this
now you're a
anymore.
cube review
Oh my
stream.
gosh. That's like all I do now, apparently. Something else I just want to throw out there real quick is that the black red pirates um, are like aggressive, right? Like the neckbreaker is attacking pirates get 2-0. Dire Fleet Captain is about attacking, and it gets pluses for each attacking pirate. Um, and I guess those are probably more mid-rangey. Um, but black doesn't support aggro. And I don't know, maybe that's fine because maybe it's more of like a mid-range thing. It's just it's an attacking deck, so I just want to throw that out there. I'd have to look through a little bit more. We also have Rakdos Cackler, which is actually pretty aggressive. 1-drop. I don't know. It's something to think about.
So overall, there's a lot of things I like.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is
Oh,
cool.
one big thing I forgot to mention. You have a bloated multicolor section.
Yep, yep. I mentioned that up front.
So many multicolor cards.
Yeah, that's a lot of multicolor cards, especially when the lands are bad. If you Sharpie out the enters the battlefield tapped, all of a sudden you're in a much better place. But even then, it's pretty fat in multicolor.
It's also very unbalanced, which makes me think that you just Sam, you did miss the pirate discussion, but there's gonna be a VOD of it, so
Yeah.
make sure that JJ gets that VOD to you.
Oh yeah. I usually get them out by tonight, or at the worst, they'll come out tomorrow morning. Um, Arthur Fist Twitch meme. Um, yeah, no, I agree though that we need to probably need to trim some multicolor, and I never say that because I love it so much. But it's probably especially there's some 3-color, well, yeah, sort of 3-color.
Yeah, I would say like
Sort
put
of.
Yasova and oh,
Yeah,
I don't know.
like
Put some of these cards in the monocolor sections because I don't think they're actually three color.
Alicia's a red
Uh,
card. You just sometimes can pair it with white or black, or maybe both,
yeah,
but probably not. But yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, pretty much exactly.
Yeah, and Brokos is
Uh,
going to be a
oh,
green card in here. You're not playing Sultai just to cast that for extra value.
yeah. So also the multicolor section is super imbalanced. Like you have 11, is it two Boros? I don't have an issue with that, but like it, something to keep in mind. And it's like your total colors are also unbalanced. Like you have 44 white, 48 blue. I also am a proponent of not caring about spreadsheet aesthetics, and I think that'll only hold you back. But there's a lot. So because you're 360, like
Yep.
like this.
Yep.
You have 8 players drafting. You have 9 colors in a guild. Somebody basically is 100% locked into playing that guild, and you have you have 2 cards in Boros. They have 8 players in 10 guilds, right?
Right.
In order to play these Boros cards, they're probably gonna have to play in 3-color. Are you gonna play Sky Knight Vanguard in a 3-color deck? Probably not.
No.
So maybe the best way is to trim down, maybe cap it at like, 6. I know that might be hard because you have like 11 Boros, 9 Golgari, 8 Selesnya.
Yep. Yep.
I would even go, to like 5. And my queue is 540, and I think my biggest guild section is like 6. And I'm happy with that. Just for a bit of reference.
You wish you had 8 players to draft this cube with. That's actually another factor of the number 360 is, if your play group is 6 people, a 360 cube is probably the sweet spot. That is worth observing. Something I'll throw out there too is, again, even outside of the 3-color cards, I would definitely recategorize some of these cards Like, all the Demure cards are Demure cards, but Rakdos Cackler is a red card. You don't support black aggro. Throw that in the red section, because that's the only person who's going to want to draft that. Similarly, Flinthoof Boar. Well, I guess that actually is a kind of a green-red card, but
Since Pilgrim is a green card, Dryad Melton
yeah.
is a white card.
Yep. Those are good.
Also,
Even Momentary Blink is probably just a white card, So
I see a couple cards in your girl section that like have 2 landfall cards. Or no, you have a landfall card, you have Zendikar Incarnate, and you have Rebel Hulk. So it seems to be like maybe you want Gruul to like care about lands. But these cards are not going to make you want to care more about lands. Just because you're playing Grove Rumbler, like what does that mean from a deck building point of view? You're going to play 18 lands instead of 17? Probably not. It's one of those things, it's like a non-archetype. It's more like a theme. It doesn't actually impact your decisions.
here's the thing about landfall.
About lands.
Here's the thing about landfall. If it says plus and it says till end of turn, it has to be aggressive. Step Links is not a landfall card. It's an aggressive card. Because the point is to play a land and attack. So like a 4-mana 5/5 trample is what this card is trying to be. But I don't know if at 4 turn 5 you're trying to swing with your Grove Rumbler. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Derek.
What's up, Derek? Derek missed all the talk about lands.
Or we were just talking about lands a little bit.
They would just make him mad with how bad the lands are in Budget Cube. Just like it made us mad.
Also, you're playing Untitled Express, which is, I think, a pretty medium. Well, I guess it's one of the better cheap vehicles. But with a 3-mana train, that train is the business.
It really is.
The 4/3 that gets +1/+1.
Is that not? They're just vehicles.
The color section is tiny. I think a big color section is great because those are cards that anyone can play, and it just kind of smooths everything out.
Right. Well, especially, again, when we know we have land issues. Renegade Freighter, so when you're thinking about. There's the cube link. Sam doesn't feel bad about stripping out half the cards in here and replacing them because they're all a quarter. That's fair. And Renegade Freighter is 10 cents. Yeah, that thing's nutty.
Freakos Golem, really? 25 cents? That card is really good.
It's 10 cents, yeah. Yeah. It's wild. Still got a grafted war gear in here, though.
Strict 25 cents. Yeah.
Preak Golem. I didn't actually, it was so small I didn't even really look at the color section, but it is pretty small. It's yeah. There's some decent cards in here.
Some bangers in there, though. There's
some bangers, yeah, for sure.
Grafted war gear and
Yep. And now we're gonna put the other train in. Derek's loving your Hex Drinker. I agree. It's one of the first things I noticed.
Thank you. This was. Oh gosh, my camera's mirrored, so it's so confusing. This was one of 25 prints. It's numbered. I don't know if you have enough pixels, but it was artist Forrest Mill. He was doing a COVID fundraiser thing.
That's amazing.
So he did a limited print run of that, and he signed it. And then I have my Dublin cube. So you see, I have.
Do it.
Cobra.
Cube Cobra.
Oh, there we go. But this was actually a gift. Gosh, I don't actually remember the name of the guy who gave it to me, but I was at a convention as like a friend of a friend, and he said, "Hey, I like your site. I want you to have this." And it's a signed print. It's just one of the more awesome things to happen to me.
Yep. Oh, Derek, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about sick altars for the cube very soon. That's gonna be next.
Oh, are we?
Do we? Right? That's why you picked the third cube, right?
Okay.
Do we want to
into a test draft?
Yeah, let's get into a draft here. Um, yep.
Sam, I have a tribe to recommend. Snakes. Very nice. Tribal
Apatra.
snakes. There's actually a ton of playable snakes.
I mean, there's some good ones for sure.
Here.
Hex Drinker being one of them. That's not budget though. All right. Big shifting gear from the last cube here. Interesting.
No palace jailer.
No, not this time.
Okay, so Polaka Worm is here, and I think top end is scarce.
Yep.
Murder is probably I think one of the more premium. So I like that.
It's going to be one of the better ones. Yeah. Those were the two that caught my eye.
It's also flexible.
Murder is?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to play in any black deck. So
right.
I think also we're only passing one black card. So I'm happy picking up Murder here.
Yep.
Probably my pick.
I agree with you on that one.
I
could have gone Polaka Worm, but I agree.
Polaka Predation, Whirler Rogue. Oh, Rise from the Tides is a nice archetype defining card.
That caught me too.
I don't hate.
And Chad Talrand.
Talrand is an archetype defining card that I do hate.
That's fair. That's fair. What I like about Rise too is it's got the incidental zombie synergy.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. You want Rise? I would take that. I also think I bet Whirler Rogue is a bit of a sleeper in this environment.
Yeah,
that's always
Whirler Rogue looks good as well.
That always surprises me. You know what I mean? I'm always like, it's just a 2/2, and then I'm like, fuck. Like it just does things.
Yeah, we could have got Polaka Worm into Polaka Predation and gone Polaka Tribal.
Polaka Tribal. Right?
Yeah.
I think I'd be on Rise.
I think Rise from the Tides works slightly better with Murder because we can blue black control deck.
Yep.
But like I'd be joking if like I'm saying Murder doesn't work with Whirler Rogue.
Yeah. Works with everything.
Realize that everyone is playing Grixis, and I am not excited about Quest for the Grave Lord.
You're not excited about that?
No.
How about
Quest for the Grave Lord? Oh, I didn't see Slumgar's
Slumgar's Command, yeah. Yep. I know. The screen share is really rough on this.
Alright, I just killed your stream and better now.
Yep, smart way to do it.
But now I can't see your chat.
I'll read them to you.
Pause your stream.
I'll read them to you. Derek likes Love Struck here as well, which I don't disagree with. I mean, we only have 2 cards. We can be open.
I've been supremely disappointed with Love Streak Beast. Also considering this cube has 1 mana dork, and like ideally you want to go mana dork into Love Streak Beast and then beat the shit out of them. You're not really going to be doing that in this.
Yeah, Sam, we did observe that there isn't a lot of a ramp archetype, especially that there weren't any really like 1-drop dorks. We did catch that.
Yeah, we touched on that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take Slumgar's Command.
Take the command.
I actually really like that card. It's a great budget card.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Notion Rain, good value. This is a new one. 2 mana, 3/1 can't block. Kicked landfall. Oh, that's right. This is a dense card.
Yeah. I just kind of like Notion Rain. I think it's setting ourselves up for a nice control day.
Derek, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, Prince? I literally was... That's why I wasn't even moving. I was reading every card trying to figure out. He's calling this Prince. Jesus Christ. That's fair.
Yeah.
Notion Rain.
As well.
Notion Rain.
And then remember that everyone else is in Demure.
Yeah.
I guess we just take the what is it?
The familiar.
Familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually solid.
Actually, I almost would say take the mammoth and just have some green fixing that's just as bad as all the other fixing.
I wouldn't call it fixing.
Well, that's fair.
It is an easier splash because you just play
Right.
it as a colorless land if you don't.
Right. Right.
You know.
Right. If you don't have it, yeah.
Um,
Oh, interesting. All right, we've got some spells options here: the Chimera and Bloodwater Entity. We also just have Void Snare, which is a fine tempo option.
like a tempo card's kind of weak.
Yeah.
Yep. Sleep is like a top end for like an aggro deck.
Yep.
I guess. Or we could like play it after player zombies, but ideally we're making enough zombies to not have to worry about it. What does Identity Thief do exactly?
It's a copy. It's actually a flicker and a copy.
Well, I don't hate that. I'm not really loving anything here. I guess we could take the Spellhard Chimera and give us an out into blue-red spells kind of thing.
Right.
I think it's better than Bloated Entity.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Especially
I don't think we're
especially
really
the Flample. Identity Thief is fun. I just think we're not on it right now. Sidestep wants us to take Dread Statuary. Just 4 mana. Respect it.
Actually,
I'm gonna take the Chimera before we can change your mind.
Point.
Already clicked it.
Yeah, just take a Demure card.
Yeah.
And so actually, this pack is a good example of too many gold cards.
Right. Right.
Like,
Mardu,
this is like
Golgari.
That was a black card, that was a green card, that was a black card.
Yeah.
They would actually have a decision, but the fact is we don't have a decision here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could try to pursue red some more with spells, but I think that's a dangerous path. I will say that. But yes, this is literally 1, 2, 3, 4 monocolor cards. Because Mythos is listed as a... I mean, again, I don't think you're going to play it as a Sultai card, but...
I consider it a good card.
Yeah.
Well, First Rage is a nice roadblock.
Yep.
What's the 4th card? I'm still waiting on the...
Diabolic Servitude.
We're not playing that.
Nope.
Oh, the Soul Ransom. Does that card do anything?
Soul Ransom... I mean...
Mind Control, but...
Mind Control it, yeah.
Oh, no, but they can...
They can make you sack it.
2 cards and make us draw 2 cards.
Right. Oh no. Please don't do that.
It's like 2 blue-black, either Mind Control or draw 2, opponent discards 2, whichever is worse.
Right.
I think I just like the Rager, though.
I'm with you.
I think the card's just all around decent.
Yep.
Okay, maybe this Demure's open, the pack's just been skewed.
Yeah, well, because Cobra doesn't color sort, right? I mean, it's just full random, right?
Well, you can set it up to collate your packs.
No, I was just curious.
Default, no.
Default, no, yeah. So that's just how packs are. But I don't know. What
does this hybrid card do?
Covetous Urge. It's another. You can cast a card out of their hand or graveyard, basically. Mana of any color. It's a Gonti without the Gonti.
You can take a card from their hand or their graveyard.
Yep.
You exile it.
Yep.
And then you
can
cast
it
later.
with whatever colors later. Yeah.
I kind of like it.
It's spell.
It increments our spell count. I mean, a 4 mana discard spell is like not really. Take Alicia and pivot to red.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yep. Maybe.
The thing that we know that you might not know is that there are like 11 Demure cards in this cube.
Yep.
So.
There sure are.
Oh, maybe Sidestep was right.
Right.
I actually like Magma Quake, just in general, because
right.
If we do play like a
Grixis
with red, then
right.
Yeah, maybe we're just Grixis.
I mean, The lands notwithstanding, the cube is pushed towards 3-color, right? Because there's so many gold cards. So, like, if the lands were excellent,
that's
I
true,
would.
That's true.
Well, if the lands were excellent, I would be like, yeah, we're Grixis. Let's do it. Like, I would be eager for that. So, because like
Okay, then
that
let's
gives you
take the
wee
Wee
Dragonauts, right?
Dragonauts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe the crew is fine. Probably not.
I mean, it's a wall, and it like
Right.
pings down your opponent.
Yep.
It's not the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's again another example of, we're stuck on.
Yeah.
Well, we got the entity on the wheel. I'll take that. All right.
Dismal backwater.
Yeah, because we have no lands, right? And we need them.
And we're trying to play a 3-color deck, and like there's a skin render, which is probably pretty premium, but
Yep.
kind of need the
Oops, sorry.
land.
Wow, Gonti got in here on budget? That's fantastic.
I'm happy taking Gonti.
Gonti, or do we want Illumination? Because this double black might be...
Was that Fires of Invention?
It is. Yeah, I guess that's...
that. You know...
I guess that's one way to solve it, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're in red.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Black, red land, black, red land.
One of the only 2 planeswalkers in the queue is also the Opt, which is...
Well, that would be good fixing. Or not fixing, excuse me, smoothing. That's what I mean to say.
I do kind of just want to take the land down.
I think we need it. We got to set a good example here. Derek's watching.
Gotta draft their vegetables.
Gonti being reprinted in Jumpstart and Commander made me very happy. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Nice. I think it's
Electro?
Doomblade or Into the Royal.
Oh yeah, no, you're probably right on that. I think I'd rather have a Doomblade. I think I'd rather have a Doomblade, right? Gwen froze. I'm taking Doomblade. It's gonna come back and be mad. I'll just keep drafting and hope he's happy when he gets back in. Geez, I don't know. Maybe Pyroclasm's fine since we're so spells heavy. And we literally have no creatures that are not 3-drops. It's that or Read the Bones. The Scab, yeah, I thought about that. Oh yeah, I forgot that it returns a spell or creature. Yeah, because we probably just want to rebuy a spell with that, assuming we survive to 5 mana. Look at all this gold. We're so fucked. So fucked. Might just need the outburst here. I mean, Kite Sail's fine. Dissenter is a roadblock. That's not a bad idea. I just think we need to make sure we're not just drafting. We got Fires. That's true. That's true. As long as we get that down, we're good, right? I don't think we want to expel, right? We're not going to have the blessing. Free as boots. I know, I love Freebooter.
Are we back?
We're back. I can hear you.
Okay. And another hiccup.
Yep. No, Discord doesn't like us tonight.
So how off the rails have we fallen?
Oh, come on now. I only drafted a couple cards. We took Doomblade, and then we took Possessed Scab. That's it.
Okay.
I do know how to draft. I 3-0'd your cube. Twice. Twice I 3-0'd your cube.
Congratulations.
Just saying. I do know how to draft a little bit.
I want Feast of Succession because
you do
premium.
All right. Oh yeah. Oh, and it's Monarch. Shit.
Yep. I think that card is
yeah.
Good. Ooh, Ransack is nice because it fuels.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, hold on.
The Bloodwater entity.
It's cute. I don't know. I think we take it.
You want Ransack? I mean, well, because what else is there in our colors, right? That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Nothing else. It's a smooth. I just want to say, I overvalue it, but I just love Death Sprout, and I think a large part of it's the art. It's just, it's also a neat card. I mean, it's not good enough in a lot of decks, but I've just always loved that card. I don't know. I wish it was more playable, I think is what I'm saying.
Cryptic Serpent is good, but I think Ruinous Path is better.
I mean, it's just another murder, right?
Yeah, but
Sorcery speed, but it's another murder. Seb McKinnon can't miss. That is the fucking truth right there. That's the actual truth. Well, your skin render came around. How did I miss Pestilence?
Yeah, no.
There must have been a land in this one.
Oh yeah, what?
Are we
Yeah,
Fire's Pestilence? Is that what we're gonna do?
I'm gonna blame the fact that I didn't see enough pixels to see Pestilence.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's Pestilence.
That's fair. Gonti came back
Sam,
around.
I know this is the problem. It's gold cards are so cool, but
I know. Yeah, it's tough choices.
Responsible adults.
It's tough choices. Look, drafting your lands and cutting your gold section. Those are the things that we know we have to do as cubers, even though we don't want to.
Yeah.
Or you have to build a gold cube and just say, fuck it. Everyone's playing 5-color good stuff.
Yeah, honestly, you could lean into it and just increase all the color counts and then say, oh yeah, and by the way, there's 6 of each guild gate, and yeah, they answer the alpha untapped.
Yep.
Hell yeah, you know?
And everyone's playing 3, maybe 4 colors. I'd play that cube.
Nothing wrong with that.
Do you want Gonti here?
Gonti.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, Necrotal, yeah.
I mean, yeah. Also, Angrath's Rampage.
Okay, what's our fixing situation?
Terrible, but we're gonna Sharpie out all the stuff we don't like on here, so it's okay.
Doesn't improve our mana situation.
Is black that much better than black red? I guess.
Oh yeah, on turn 4. Oh yeah.
I guess. We're gonna end up. Well, I guess we have to play red because we have
them like
fires.
Is like a disfigure, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not even.
Not even? No. Well, it depends how many swamps we're gonna have. Oh yeah. I see what you're saying. It's gonna be.
I say Carrier Throw. I think it's a decent enough roadblock, and I think Defile is gonna be like a worse.
And we don't want the Electromancer, right? Same problem.
Yeah. The thing is, we want to play that card on curve, and there's like no way that's happening.
Right. I agree.
Pirate
or pirate?
Yep, Stormfleet Surrender, I guess.
Yeah, that's not going to make the cut.
We're not playing either of these cards.
Nope.
We're not playing that card. Nope. We're taking. Okay. Are we slamming the land? Oh, there's a fact.
There's 2. There's Dismal, there's Swiftwater, and there's Terramorphic. And yes, there's Factor Fiction.
If we just I want Factor Fiction because it's just pretty strong, and it feels our what is it? The zombie thing.
Our Rise.
Yeah.
And doesn't Spellheart count? Yeah, in your graveyard. So we want spells in the graveyard.
Even giving one player one of each dual land is not actually that useful.
Is not that what?
Some manipulations. Pab mentioned remove lands from the draft.
Right, and then give everyone one
of each dual land, but that means we'd have 3 duels, and that's I want like 6.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, Seagate Oracle, Soul Manipulation, Chemistry Insight. I'm happy with either of those.
Yeah. Yeah, the Thriving Lands are also a really good idea. Those are good.
Yeah, because you're breaking Singleton anyway.
Yep.
Thriving Lands are really useful during the drafting portion.
Mnemonic Wall.
Oh yeah. What else we get? Was that Atraxa?
Atris.
Truths.
Atris. And Crackling Drake, although that's blue, red. There's no way we're gonna get there. There's no way we're getting there.
Happening.
Yeah. This is Atris or Atris or whatever it is. Yeah.
Whatever.
Which is pretty good. It's a good little 4-drop.
Yeah, I like it.
You want that one? I'll take that.
Yeah, we're kind of letting spells, but
yeah, I mean,
oh gosh, what is
build
that
the deck later.
Text? I saw it earlier, and I have to confess I didn't read the card because it was very long.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not.
Target creature gains Encore.
Yeah, we don't need that. That's not our deck. I don't know what we are here.
I think
Electrolyze?
electrolyze.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't hate FTK.
Yeah.
It's not a spell, but it acts like one.
I feel like we're not a spells deck anymore.
I don't even know what we are anymore. I think we're a Grixis pile.
Yeah, I think we're Grixis.
We could draft Gutter Snipe and try to get back on there, but
I don't think so. I don't think we have enough spells to support Gutter Snipe.
right.
Who do we do? No, I don't think we do.
We have 19 non-creatures.
Yeah, no, I'm off it.
But it's stuff like some of it's gonna get cut, and there's like Pestilence, and
Well, Pestilence and Fires is a nice little combo.
it's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, that'll play nicely.
Just take the Cycling Land, I guess.
Take the desert, because we're gonna want to get rid of our lands for sure. Watcher?
Ooh, is that the Oh yeah, well yeah.
Right?
Big fan of that card. Yeah.
We can't. We're not Crypt Rats. Yeah, Watcher's good. I'm not high on Pondering Mage, I will say that.
It's decent in this sort of environment. Was that a Bacon Bolt over there?
Beacon Bolt, yep. Yep. And that looks like spells in the graveyard.
Bacon Bolt.
Yeah, I don't think we're a spells deck. I think we're a I think we're a value deck that might drop a Rise for the Tides and drop some zombies. But
yeah, sure.
a colorless land is what we need here.
Yeah.
Zealot really good here. Yeah, that might have been the move. Sidestep. It's a good catch.
I'm not a big fan of that card.
I mean, little roadblock. This is literally the only thing on color because we're not going to ascend. So I don't know that it matters. I haste one that dies into a 5/5. Devotion red. I mean, this does trigger on instant sorceries, even though we're not a spells deck anymore. We have all the payoffs and no spells. That's the problem.
Grixis payoffs.
Yeah.
The curse.
Yeah.
Almost there.
Yep.
Yep.
These are the picks I was saying we're not going to agonize over because these are all off color. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So a little bit more of a challenge, especially with the whole gold land concern. So honestly, Sam, I think that's the first thing you have to try to address is just figure out the right balance of gold cards and lands and how you want to approach the lands. There are, as Pab said, lots and lots of ways you can do it. And it could be as simple as taking a Sharpie, because I think most Sharpies cost less than 25 cents. So I think you're okay on that one. And then other options would be, again, if you don't want to be strict on that budget, finding a way to proxy some lands, or cutting way back on the gold cards for sure. Because especially like aggro is just going to have such a hard time getting a foothold with these tapped lands. Like they're going to have to go monocolor more often than not.
You have to go monocolor.
Yeah, yeah. Or you're going to have like mostly red with like a heroic reinforcements. That's probably a bad example, but you know what I mean. A one or two splashing white cards or hybrid cards or something like that at the top. I think those are the two big things to address. But otherwise, I mean, I think pirates can play. I don't think it's bad, and it's certainly not so dense right now that it's parasitic. And like Gwen rightfully observed, you can easily just put in some pirates and changelings that are just good, just good. And then they're in no way taking away from the rest of the draft, but they'll help support it. And then lastly, I think overall the archetype balance is fine here. I don't think you need to move away from that.
Well, we did fall into kind of a good stuff pile,
right?
Because there's too many gold cards and also not enough fixing.
Right.
If there's less gold cards and more fixing, then we could have leaned into our archetypes more and then built more of a synergy pile. Agreed.
No, we also, I mean, yeah, no, that was a big factor because there were a lot of spells we couldn't grab. And there's a lot of spells we have to cut here. to make
And
it
like we're
castable.
playing Grixis deck, but we don't have the fixing for it. Yeah, that's my
Yep.
major takeaway
Yep.
is yeah, figure out what you want to do with your lands. But
Yep.
the number of gold cards you have is not really well supported by the number and type of lands you have.
Yep. Yep.
And
So he just
some of that's just out of your control, which kind of sucks.
right.
But
Well, there's solutions. I think you just gotta think on what you want to do. And Sam, I mean, you're also in the Discord, so like if you have an idea and you want to run it by the group, feel free to at me or at the mentor tag, and we'd love to keep with this and see where you end up. But yeah, Sam did say in the chat he's gonna rework the lands and cut a lot of gold, and maybe throw in some more colorless, which will also help. So yeah, no, but I think overall, like again, the archetype thing is in a good place. Once you sort out the lands and whatnot.
on PS4 client, like the Twitch client.
Oh, you can't click
the
the links.
thing?
Astox, are you in the Discord? Are you in our Discord? I think so, right? Because you had messaged me in there before. If you are, that's the easiest way. Is just at me on the Discord anywhere. There's actually like a channel in there for the cube panel, and if you just tag me, I'll send you the form happily. It's also on Reddit and there's other stuff like that, but that's the easiest. All right, Gwen, you gonna survive one more?
Yeah,
Let's do this. You wanna take a quick bio break? Take a little 5-minute break?
No.
No, you're good.
Actually,
Power through.
yeah.
Let's do it.
Unless